Hello everyone, welcome to the day 5 of this 100 Days of Cloud series. This is Lakshit Pant from Azure Developer Community, and I am taking this session today from Microsoft Office. I'm really sorry I have to take it right now because I'm running late. This event was supposed to end around 2, but it got extended, and I'm supposed to be here right now. So I thought I would take it from my home, but I'm taking it right now because later I'll be traveling, right? So I'll quickly give you, but because for the 3 days, for the next, just let me post this link in the group so that you all can join later, right? uh, yeah, so this will be all about yeah, so if anyone could join, this is fine. Otherwise, you can always watch this video again and again, and you can just try it out what I was doing. The content for today is pretty much simple. I have decided the content. It's about Azure virtual machines. It's about deploying the Azure virtual machines on Azure portal, right? So so there are 3 days, 5 to 7. So I'll quickly share my screen. So just give me a second. Let me just quickly share my screen. Right, this is, I hope my screen is visible to you all. I hope my screen is visible to you all. So this is what yeah, so 5 6 7, we have 3 days for virtual machine deployment. In 3 days we will learn how to deploy a virtual machine using Azure portal. On day 6 we will learn how to deploy a virtual machine using PowerShell, and third day we'll learn how to use ARM templates to deploy multiple virtual machine at a single scale, right? So these are 3 days assigned for the virtual machine part, and today I'll quickly cover the Azure portal part and how you can just get through it. And what I will do, you can always post the questions. You can always post the questions in the group. You can utilize the group. I'm recording it 30 minutes earlier so that I do not want to miss any day. That's why I'm recording 30 minutes earlier from right away from the Microsoft Office today. So let's quickly start. I won't take much of your time. I'll try to end this in next 20 minutes, right? So see, when we talk about Azure virtual machines using Azure, it's pretty much evident that Azure virtual machine is something like using another compute. Now, what is the concept of virtual machine? So let's understand what is the concept of virtual machine came. It came when it was it's like buying someone's computer, right? So you have a laptop, right? I'm using this HP laptop. This has a 8 GB RAM and some kind of maybe some kind of SSD, some kind of hard drive, right? But what if I want to go beyond that? Maybe what if I want to require, I want some kind, I just require, my requirements are bigger, right? I want to deploy a machine, I want to run a machine learning model, I want to train a machine learning model. How will I do that? How can I do that, right? So that's the biggest challenge that I get now. So in order to solve those stuff, right, in order to solve those stuff, what I can use is I can use the virtual machine, right? So what it will help me, virtual machine will help me about the, okay, let me just again, I'm not sure why this again and again logs me out, right? Yeah. So virtual machine concept is all about using someone's compute or using someone else infrastructure, so that if you understand the concept of as PaaS SaaS, this comes under infrastructure this comes under as an infrastructure service where we are utilizing someone's infrastructure. So Microsoft has its own data center. If I want to show you Microsoft data center. So they have this really fancy map, which, so if maybe if I can just show this up to you. Let me just see if this is working right. Datacenters.microsoft.com. Where is the globe? Where is the globe? I just wanted to see the globe, right? uh, not this. Explore the globe. I just wanted to see the globe. Where is this? And just maybe I can images. So this is what typical data centers looks like, because we can't buy it because it's very expensive, right? So what we do is we go to a particular cloud, we ask them that these are a requirement for this particular thing. We want to maybe we want to utilize this. Maybe we want to utilize your maybe data centers, right? And we want these are the particular requirements. For this we need a virtual machine, we need a maybe a machine for running multi-model machines, or we just need for saving our data. It depends on your requirement, right? What is your requirement? So virtual machine is always depends on the requirement. It's always about the requirement, right? Now, what can be the requirement? Requirement can be the infrastructure, where we are talking about requirement can be the infrastructure, where we are talking about the maybe the virtual machines, where we are talking about the databases and everything, compute power and everything. Then it can be sometimes about the maybe sometimes about the particular API call or something like this. So, or using the open API. If you want to use open API, you have to you know somewhere it's running, right? You want that compute power to run, right? So all these things, there are multiple factors on which a virtual machine differs, right? So it totally depends. There are multiple factors on which this virtual machine differs. So let's try to understand what this looks like. And there comes the multiple things, right? Like region, availability options, availability zones, avail- availability options, availability zones, and availability sets. I'll tell you what are these things and how you can just learn these concepts, right? What is this container, what is this serverless. So let's try to hi Daksh. Hi, I'm really sorry, we are just starting this session a little bit early because there was a session at Microsoft Office. I'm just live from Microsoft Office right now. If you can see this, I'm live from Microsoft Office, right? So I got a little bit late. This session was supposed to end by 2, but now it got a little extended. Extended a little bit now. Simply, what you have to do, you have to simply go to the virtual machine. Don't go to any documentation or anything like this. Even not Microsoft Learn. Microsoft only go to Microsoft Learn if you want to explore anything about it. Today, how are you going to learn virtual machine? Very simple. Open azure.portal.azure.com. Open virtual machine, and then we will see what are these things. Okay, first, what is name? Virtual machine, we have to give a name to our name, right? Then is subscription, resource group. Let's start creating by own. Now, there are a couple of things, right? First is virtual machine, Azure virtual machine. Second is Azure virtual machine with preset configuration. Third is Azure Arc virtual machine. And fourth is Azure VMware solution virtual machine, right? So what are these four things and how to differentiate between all four of them, and what would you require as per your requirement, right? So it depends, right? If you are a student, you won't need these things, right? If you so these are particularly if any organization want a particular configuration, right? They can't go every single time and write the same script, do the same clicks at every single point of time. They just want to auto scaling. You will I'll teach I'll talk we'll talk about auto scaling later as well, but right now it's about preset configuration. Now, what is preset configuration? Preset configuration is all about how if it's simply evident, right there. So you have already have some configuration, you have already some pre-filled requirements, and then on the basis of that requirements, you are just utilizing on the basis of those field points, right? Right now, if we'll go with this, everything we have to fill manually. Like this is our this is our system requirement, this is the image that we need, this is all what we need, right? But in the second option, you have your requirement already defined there, and you just click on that requirement, you can just go. Now, what is this Azure Arc virtual machine? This is something like hybrid model. You can create a Azure Arc virtual machine in one of your non-Azure environment. So if you are maybe some kind of, if you are working on some other kind of maybe data center, right? You want to have on your own data center. You want to use Azure, you want to use your Azure services, but at the same point of time, you want to utilize some others infra. How you can do this? You can do this by Azure Arc, right? Then VMware is something you will never require. It's not for, it's like VMware is a company that provides the computation power and then networking power. Virtual machine, it's entirely configuration based. So if you're a client of VMware, then only you can use it. Now, for today, we will going with the first thing, first question, right? First, maybe this first Azure virtual machine. Now, I'll tell you the approach, how we are going to go with this virtual machine and how we'll learn, understand what this virtual machine looks like, right? We will go to each and every single step. See, first of all, read whatever written over here. Don't read this. Do not read this. Do not read this documentation. Instead, read this. What is written right over here in the portal? It's written: create a virtual machine that runs on Windows, Linux. Select an image from Azure Marketplace or use your own customized image. Complete the basic review plus create and deploy a virtual machine. That's it. Right now, what I told you was, I told you something about subscription, right? You need a subscription to launch anything. First of all, what you need a subscription. Now I'm working on a pay as you go subscription. Pay as you go means I'll pay for what I will use. That's it, right? We have already understood the concept of subscription. Now, what is this resource group? See, resource group relies in the region, right? Resource group always relies in the region. So yesterday, when we were talking about when we created this resource group, it had asked us about the region, right? That Indian region where you want to deploy a resource group. So this resource group always lives in a particular region. So it can be India, it can be US, it can be Europe, everything, right? It requires a particular region, a particular country or continent with the data center you want to deploy, right? You can simply click on this. You can see a resource group is a collection of resources. We have already discussed this. What is a resource group? It's a collection of resources that we are going on. Okay. Now you always, you can if you want to create a new, you can just click on create new, right? Now that this third thing, virtual machine name, you just have to click a virtual machine name. So we can say cloud test. I have given it a name, cloud test. Now what is this region? Just click on these I buttons. This is how you will learn these things. Just click on these I buttons and this is how you will go with this, right? Now if you will click on this I button, what's written here? Choose the Azure region that's right for you and your customers. Not all VM sizes are available in region, right? So suppose if you want to, so Microsoft have different kind of regions, right? Suppose there are multiple regions: East US, East, Central South Asia, West Asia Pacific, North Europe, UK, Central India, also Asia Pacific, East Asia, Central India. So if I'll choose Central Asia, Korea, say Germany, Italy, there are multiple countries where they have set it up their data centers, right? Right now, what if so we were talking about region. So what is this? What is this region means, and why do we require a region? Why do we require a region, right? So if you have a, if you want to, if you think like this, suppose if you want to deploy data, right? If you want, if you are a Hotstar, if you are, if let's take an example of Hotstar has its frequent maybe the customers or maybe the users coming from India only, so I will host it in an Indian region, right? But every, so there is one chart, right? Microsoft virtual machine uh, region based services chart. I'll share this chart with you. No, so suppose not every region has all the features. Not every region has all the features, right? So suppose there will be the features that, so you can see this. Azure Databricks is not, Azure Databricks is available in all regions, but Azure Bot Services is not available in Canada, Central US, East US, North Central. So these are not available in those regions. So you have to decide what is your requirement, what kind of service you are using. Suppose Face API. Face API is not available in Central US. Is not available in Central US. What is this? Time means it will be available very soon. By Q1 2024, by March 2024, you will get a region of customization, right? You will available, this service will be available, right? So this is again, and they are right now, this is obsolete, right? This is obsolete. So there are a couple of things. So this is the chart what it looks like, right? I'll just quickly share it with you, and I'll put it right here as well so that I can share it with you later. Okay. So first of all, you can deploy virtual machines by three things. First of all, you can deploy virtual machine using Azure portal that we are going to do on the day 5. You can deploy Azure machine virtual machine using Azure PowerShell, right? You can also deploy Azure virtual machine using CLI, okay? Cloud, no, CLI, command line interface, right? You can always use these three things. So on today, we will learn Azure portal. Second day, we will use, on day 7, day 6, we will learn Azure PowerShell. Then third day, we will use CLI. Now let's move ahead. So this is how we can always explore what kind of services required where, कि कहाँ पर कौन से सर्विस मैं यूज कर सकता हूँ, कहाँ पर नहीं. सो दिस इज अगेन अ रीजन, वेरी रीजन स्पेसिफिक, राइट? सो चूज योर रीजन वाइजली, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ, व्हाट इज योर रिक्वायरमेंट एंड वेयर इट इज दो एंड इट्स अवेलेबल और नॉट. मतलब अगर आपके एक्स रिक्वायरमेंट है, अगर मुझे चाहिए कि मैं, मतलब मुझे चाहिए कॉस्मोस डीबी, राइट? क्या मुझे कॉस्मोस डीबी इंडियन रीजन में मिल रहा है या नहीं? अगर नहीं मिला तो कौन सा नियरेस्ट है, बिकॉज वी हैव टू कीप दैट लेटेंसी, राइट? बिकॉज लेटेंसी इज द बिगेस्ट इशू. अगर मैं अपना मान लो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में सेव कर दूं, राइट? देयर इज अ रीजन इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, राइट? इफ आई विल सेव माय डेटा इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया रीजन, हाउ मच टाइम इट विल टेक टू रेंडर द थिंग्स फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलियन रीजन. वहाँ पे, वहाँ से चीज़ें डेटा सेंटर में रिक्वेस्ट जाएगा, फिर वापस आएगा, फिर जो कंप्लायंस होगा, सारी चीज़ें, कितना ज़्यादा टाइम वहाँ पे खा जाएगा, right? So that's why I have to think about a lots of things. So nearest region you should always take. Now there is three things. First is availability zones. Second is virtual machine skill set. Third is availability set. Now what are these three things? So first of all, let's understand what is availability zones. You can optionally specify an availability zone if you want to deploy. If you choose so, manage this public IP and you will be created. Now let's understand what is an availability zone and what is a virtual machine skill set. So region is the country, okay? Now in one country, Microsoft separated its resources in different regions. So there is Mumbai region, there is Delhi region, there is Hyderabad region. So every region has different availability zones. So what will happen is, so if I'll just show you this up, Azure So this is the right example. You will get three availability zones, right? Every time you will get three availability zones. What this means, if you are saving data, suppose I'm 100 days of cloud, 100 participants are participating in this, maybe this challenge, right? If I am saving my data in one zone, it will be automatically replicated into two other zones. Why? Because if some by any chance this zone gets zoned out, मीन्स दिस जोन गेट्स डाउन, मतलब इस जोन पे अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है, कुछ डेटा सेंटर में फॉल्ट आ जाता है, कुछ भी हो जाता है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इशू आ जाता है, कोई मतलब देयर इज समथिंग लाइक अर्थ और सो, देन आई कैन ऑलवेज, then I can run my, I can run the other services my in second. If again this also goes out, I can use this one. So there is one backup, and there is backup of backup that Microsoft has created. So that's why we use this availability zone. There is one region. It is region specific. And in this, there is the entire region. Then in the region, we have three availability zones. So every region has three availability zones linked to it. But we were talking about every region. So if you will see this, we will talking about this. You have the, yeah, it's loaded, right? You have these particular services, database shared here. Every services will be replicated into two other zones as well, so that you can the minimum latency can be achieved. Minimum latency, कम से कम time लगे आपके request को complete होने में. Second thing, if one zone gets zoned out, then you can utilize the other, and that if second goes out, then you can utilize the third, right? Though it hardly happens, but yeah, in some cases, if it will help you out, right? Now let's talk about the availability zones we have already talked about. Now talk about virtual machine scale set. What does the virtual machine scale set looks like? Virtual machine scale set, it's mostly around the virtual machines, and it revolves around the scaling of the virtual machines, right? If you want to, maybe how should I tell you, if you want to scale a particular, if you have a virtual machine deployed, suppose आज हमें virtual machine deploy करेंगे, and I want the same machine with same configuration to deploy in multiple regions. Now after 10 days, I can utilize virtual machine scale set, right? So that if suppose अगर Amazon की यहाँ sale चल रही है, so suppose right now, so suppose I have this some kind of maybe suppose maybe some kind of Agios. If I am using Agio, right? Agio पे अभी नॉर्मल चल रहा है. What if Agio पे, what is the maybe after maybe on 22nd of January or maybe 26th January को कोई सेल आती है, like Republic Day सेल आती है, right? So I would need more virtual machines because traffic बढ़ेगा मेरी वेबसाइट पे. So at that particular time I have to work on scales. अब मैं उस टाइम पे मैनुअली बैठ के वहाँ पे उस स्केल थोड़ा ना कराऊंगा, एक अनदर वर्चुअल मशीन नहीं बनाऊंगा ना. So what it will do, if I think कि मुझे ये स्केल चाहिए होगा, so what I can do, I can define a particular configuration right now so that it can be scaled later, right? That's what means by virtual machine scale set, right? That can be replicated in different domains, right? In different zones, it can be distributed. Now what is this availability sets? Again, this availability sets again, availability sets Azure. This is again a very important point, right? When we talk about availability sets, there comes the concept of this that we were talking about earlier. If some kind of tragedy happens in any of the virtual machine, this can survive. If this goes down, this can survive. So similarly, it is available in multiple regions, and this again, Microsoft will charge us for this, right? Now let's go, because we want availability zones is good for us, so we'll go with the availability zones. And now if you want to explore all these things on your own, how you can do it? Simply go to ChatGPT and ask it, tell me about availability zones in Azure with a example of maybe e-commerce. Give a prompt like this, then it will tell you with an example of, suppose it will give you a scenario, so that just go through this and learn through like this. Learn something like this. ठीक है, देखो इसने मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स दे दिए, लाइक कि डिप्लॉयमेंट आसानी, अवेलेबिलिटी जोन्स में मल्टीपल एक साथ डिप्लॉय कर सकते, हाई अवेलेबिलिटी की एक टाइम पे मल्टी कहीं से भी हाई अवेलेबिलिटी हो जाए, डिजास्टर रिकवरी, राइट, की अगर कहीं किसी एक जोन्स पे जो मैंने बात करके डिजास्टर आ गया, द सेकेंडरी रीजन कैन गो अप, लोड बैलेंसिंग के एक एक वर्चुअल मशीन पे बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक आ रहा है, मैं लोड बैलेंसर से ट्रैफिक को डिवाइड कर पाऊँ, स्केलिंग, राइट, इफ आई वांट टू if there is some kind of sale coming in on my portal, right, I can always scale my all my availability zones on my virtual machine or my default system, right? So this is how it works, right? Now, how many zones I want? So in particular reason, I can either create two. If I can create, see what it will do. See, as soon as I click, so right now if it is zone 1, you can see now you can select multiple zones. Selecting multiple zones will create one VM per zone. हर एक पर्टिकुलर जोन में आपकी एक वर्चुअल मशीन में डिप्लॉय कर देगा, राइट? देयर विल बी 3 अवेलेबिलिटी जोन्स, हर एक जोन में वो 3 डिप्लॉय कर देगा। ऐसे समझो, देयर विल बी वन रीजन, रीजन के बाद आएगा अवेलेबिलिटी ऑप्शंस, अवेलेबिलिटी ऑप्शंस में उस हमने चूज कर लिया जोन की, मुझे तो चाहिए जोन की भाई 3 जगह पे मेरे डिप्लॉय कर दे। नाउ इन 3 जगह पे भी वो 3-3 अलग-अलग कर देगा। सो इट्स अ स्ट्रक्चर। नाउ अब कितने हो गए टोटल? पास 9 हो जाएंगे। सो आई हैव रेप्लिका इन 9, I have one virtual machine, but it is replicated in 3, in 9 virtual machines. If I'll choose 3. So this is how it works. See, we'll place 2 virtual machine, one in each selected zone, right? If I'll select 4, it will go, if I'll go with 3, but it will say 3 virtual machines per zone would deploy kar dega. This is how it works, right? Now, second thing is security type. What kind of security type you need? If you want a standard type, you can always click on the standard, because we have, I will go unclick this one, because we just not want to maybe spend our $100 that credits that we have. So we'll click on the standard one. If you, it depends on the type of security you want. If you want a basic standard security that has a basic requirement, that you can go with this one. If you want a trusted virtual machines, right, it's like maybe it's more than maybe thoda sa zyada, but right, again it's not, again it's better than standard, but again one level above. But it's confidential, that's what bank uses, कि अपने प्राइवेट सर्वर पे सब कुछ चल रहा हो, एकदम हाईली confidential data, like government data, or maybe army, maybe military kind of data, right? Those needs confidential things, right? Those are confidential things, so I can choose confidential things for those purposes, right? So this is the security type. Now what is the image? Image is the operating system. Now what do we mean by operating system? What kind of operating system we want to run? If you want to run a Ubuntu server, if you want to run a Red Hat server, if you want to run a maybe Oracle server, if you want to run a Windows data center, what kind of services do you want to run? So suppose if I'll click on the Windows, I want to run a Windows virtual machine. So if I want to run a Windows virtual machine, it will see, right? I have clicked on this Windows virtual machine. I'll tell you how to do this as well, right? So I'll simply click on this Windows virtual machine, right now. Now, now just give me a second. Yeah. So it depends what kind of, there are multiple kind of images. What is your requirement? There are thousands of, there are multiple images here. कि ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम आपको कौन सा चाहिए, विंडोज चाहिए, लिनक्स चाहिए, कौन सा आपको ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चाहिए, दिस इज व्हाट इट टेल्स, राइट? यू कैन ऑलवेज चूज बिटवीन दीज वर्चुअल मशीन सिस्टम्स. Now, what is an image? Image is it's like an operating system that I want to run, and I need to have a license for that OS if I want to use it, right? So it's something like this. So maybe I can just simply choose for this, and what I want, I will use this. I will to create a virtual machine, right? I'll choose this data center with not the data center one. I'll use Windows 10 version Pro. Okay, now what's the next thing? What is this virtual machine? Again, there are some couple of things that comes here. First is virtual spot instance. But I said virtual spot instance. Right, what is a spot instance? This is like a unused Azure instance that can be used at a discounted rate, right? So suppose you will book something आपको पता है कि आपने जो सर्विस चलानी है वो 12 महीने तक तो चलेगी ही चलेगी। कि आप सपोज ई-कॉमर्स ब्रांड चला रहे हो, आपको पता है कि वो 12 महीने तक आप वर्चुअल मशीन यूज़ करोगे। यू विल यूज़ दिस वर्चुअल मशीन फॉर नेक्स्ट 12 मंथ्स। सो आप क्या करोगे, पहले से प्री बुकिंग कर लोगे, थोड़ा-सा सस्ता पड़ जाए जिसके लिए। हम पहले से मतलब एडवांस में बुकिंग कर लें कि भाई ये इतना इस कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के साथ मुझे ये ना थोड़ा बहुत इतनी स्पेस के साथ इस कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के साथ इतना मुझे दे दे। सो इट विल गिव यू, इट विल असाइन दैट स्पेस टू यू सो दैट योर दैट इज़ सो दैट योर सो दैट यू कैन गेट इट ऑन अ डिस्काउंटेड रेट। $1000 की आ रही थी, वो अब $800 की आएगी। सो दिस इज़ द डिफरेंस हाउ यू कैन मेक इट। Right now, what is this? Then second is about the size, like what kind of will get. So this is what, if you want to scout, like you can just simply click on the spot virtual machine, right? Now there is something called maybe the VM architecture. What kind of virtual machine architecture on you want require, right? It's more about the performance. Like you want, maybe if you want to choose your maybe x64, ARM64 is not selected with this image because it is not the high end. If I will choose some other images, it will support ARM64, right? ARM64, there are a couple of differences. What kind of computation is required? It totally tells us the kind of cross compilation that we need. This VM architecture is all about the computation that is required from our side, right? I have already told about the discount. So we will just reserve it for next 12 months, for next 3 years, for 5 years, and they will give you on discount. Now, what is the size? What kind of size I require? कौन सा मेरे लिए सस्ता पड़ रहा है, क्या मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट, कितना मेरे को डेटा साइज चाहिए, कितना मेरे को कंपैटिबिलिटी चाहिए, मुझे EC2 इंस्टेंस चाहिए, मेरे को क्या चीज़ें चाहिए, मेरे को डेटाबेस चाहिए, मेरे को ज़्यादा स्पेस चाहिए, मेरे को कैन सी ऑल द साइजेस दैट आर अवेलेबल है। कितने डिस्क, कितनी रैम चाहिए, कितने CPU चाहिए, कितने लोकल स्टोरेज चाहिए मुझे, प्रीमियम डिस्क मुझे चाहिए क्या, किस तरीके के कौन से एज के मेरे को सीरीज चाहिए, दैट यू कैन ऑलवेज डिसाइड यूजिंग दिस। ओके, सो आई विल जस्ट यूज दिस। Let's go with the default one. Okay, I'll just simply use this. Now there is something called maybe de-hibernation. What this hibernation means, when it's all about saving your time or the root volume, right? So suppose you have some particular service running for 6 months, then for particular, let's assume it like this. So you are a startup working in US, operating in US, and you are deploying your services on maybe on Azure, right? For the Christmas part, right? For that 1 month of Christmas, you have already done a number of things, right? After that 1 month, you will need it next year, and in order to maybe you do so, अगर मैं उसको सेम चीज को अगले साल दोबारा करने जाऊंगा तो it will cost me time, it will cost me money, it will cost me resources, right? What I can do, I can hibernate my VM for that 8 months of time, or for that 9 months of time, so that I can reuse it after whenever is it's required later. That's what enable hibernation means, right? Now, administrator is always required. Like you can maybe I'll just use it like LAKSH, and I'll use the password LAKSH09. So you have to make a username and password so that you can log in as an administrator, and फिर यहाँ पे आप as an administrator role बनोगे, तो फिर बाद में आप सबको मतलब you can always give the maybe assign roles, remove roles, you can do all those things, right? You can do all those things. Now here comes the inbound port and public inbound ports, right? कि कौन से select से मेरे को request लेनी है, if you want to maybe some kind of maybe कौन से server से मेरे को request चाहिए, right? RDP, if you want a RDP connection, if you want a HTTPS request, if you want a मतलब कौन सी सर्विस, कौन सा रिक्वेस्ट मुझ पे चाहिए, if you want a kind of HTTPS request, अगर आप सिक्योर सेल के साथ लॉन्च कर रहे हो then you want HTTPS, right? If you want it with HTTP, you can go with 80 port, right? कौन से पोर्ट से आप रिक्वेस्ट एक्सेप्ट करोगे? So someone will search https.microsoft.com, वो सर्विस सर्वर पे जाएगी और उसमें क्या डेटा भेजना है. This is all about the inbound ports. I can select these inbound ports right over here because we are using a Windows virtual machine. So I'll go with the RDP one. Okay. Now, what's the next thing? That is about the licensing. I'll just confirm the licensing part. Now let's go to the next disk part. Now there are the two types of disk that are always available to you. That one is OS disk type, right? Second is encryption type. One is OS, second is encryption type, right? You can this is select a subscription, so you have to this is only applicable for if you order hosted a subscription. Right now, what kind of, you know, size you need, what kind of OS operating, you know, कितने टाइप, कितनी रैम चाहिए, कितना डेटाबेस चाहिए, कितना मतलब कितना कंप्यूटेशन चाहिए, कितनी एसएसडी चाहिए, कितनी एसडीडी चाहिए, एसडी आपको एसएसडी चाहिए, सपोज यू डोंट वांट एसएसडी, राइट? आपका एसएसडी का कुछ काम नहीं, यू आर जस्ट देयर फॉर सेविंग द डेटा, सो यू वांट एसडीडी, राइट? सो व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड, यू विल जस्ट क्लिक ऑन एसएसडी, राइट? यू वोंट बी क्लिकिंग ऑन एसडीडी, राइट? सो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ की मैनेजमेंट, किस तरीके की की मैनेजमेंट आपको चाहिए, राइट? डिलीट विथ वीएम. So again, this is then I'll go on, I'll go to the networking type. Then just explore this, explore. I have a very less time. I'll you know, we'll cover all this because we will be covering the virtual machine part on next 3 days. We will learn virtual machines only. अगले 3 दिनों तक हम सिर्फ virtual machines पढ़ेंगे. So networking part, management part, monitoring part, the advanced part, I'll leave it for next 3 days, because from that perspective we'll understand it better, right? When we'll talk about those ports, right? What I will do, I'll just go ahead and I'll just simply click on the review and create. I'll say simply click on the review and create. Okay, it will make the virtual machine for me. Hello Aksa, hello everyone. I'm really sorry, I have started a bit early because I'm right now I'm at the Microsoft office. Today is one offline, today there was one offline event. I got late here, that's why I have to start it right over here, that's why. Right now, what you can do, you can just simply click on review and create. It will create you, it will tell you what will the cost estimation and whatnot, and you can just simply click on the create option. As soon as you will click on the create option, it will create the virtual machine for you. Now let's wait for 2-3 minutes, and unless it's initializing the deployment, right? As soon as this deployments get finished, we will go to the VM portal, right? Then we will connect the RDP file. uh, Deployment is in the progress, let's wait for this to deploy. And if anyone has any questions till here, just let me know. So what are the links that I have given to you? First is this. Okay, I've shared it with you already. Second is this, and rest all the links I'll share it in the group by today 8 or 9 p.m. I'll share all the links with you today. Okay, so I'll share these links with you. So the deployment is in progress right now. Let's wait for this deployment to finish. If anyone has any question, just let me know in the comment section. Let this virtual machine deploy. I'm just waiting this to deploy, right? Right now the deployment process is going on, right? I'm just waiting for the deployment part. It's in progress right now. Let's wait for 2 more minutes, then I'll show you how to create a RDP connection, remote desktop connection, how to make a RDP connection, remote desktop portal, how to make a RDP connection, how I can. So I'm working on Windows 11 right now. You can see this is a Windows 11. You can see Copilot here, right? I'll show you how I can open simply Windows 10, right? As soon as this finishes, right? Let this finish. Mm, please just happen quickly. I just need it on urgent, right? If anyone has any question, just let me know. Right? And I'll quickly tell you. And tomorrow, anyone has any question, just let me know in the comment section. Yeah, it is completed. Wow, thank God it's completed now. Now what we will do, I'll quickly set up a remote desktop connection. How I'll do it, I'll go to my virtual machine. I'll go to this. I'll go to connect. Right. There is some issue, I guess. Native RDP. Right. I'll click on download the RDP file. Now I have downloaded the RTP file, right? Now what I will do, I'll simply open this RDP file. Now you can see it will asking me to connect. I'll click on connect, and now it will connect with me. So I have to write down the maybe the password that I have written. Okay, what is the password? LAKSHIS. Now you can see. I hope you all can see this. This is how where I am. You can see this. Windows 10 is opening here, so I can do all my stuff here. This can be done, right? This is how you set up a Windows connection, right? This is how we do it. This is a cloud test environment. This is the RDP connection I have already done. So this is how simply you can deploy a virtual machine using Azure portal, right now. So it will ask you some couple of details. You can just have to say yes, accept. Yeah, here you can see. Now everything works like this. If you want to create a new folder, see, now it's a entire Windows 10 that I'm working on. Cloud test. I have created a new folder, right? Again, this entirely behaves as a Windows 10 connection. So isn't this cool, right? This is cool, right? So I'll just close this up. Okay, now, so this is how you simply do it, right? This is how simply you do the all the stuff that I have showed you. So this is how simply using Azure portal you can establish a remote desktop connection. Okay, right now I'll just stop the virtual machine. So that's it pretty much for the today's session. I'll cover today. Tomorrow we'll cover about how to set up a remote desktop, how to maybe how to set up a desktop connections. No, how to what we can say this. How to make deploy a virtual machine using PowerShell. Tomorrow we'll learn how to deploy a virtual machine using PowerShell. Just do one thing every just open azure.portal.com. Simply azure.portal.com and just click on those I buttons, search for that particular definition. Like what is this? What is this? What is this? What is a public IP? What is private IP? What is this subnet? What is this DNS? Search those things, right? Search those particular things and you will be all sorted. You'll be all set. That's it. And if you want to explore the day, if you are from day 4, day 3, you can always explore these links. I've already shared these links here. You can always explore these links, right? So anyone, no one found that RDP connection cool? I can't see any comment here. Like 4 people are watching this. Anyone? I know how I'm doing this virtual session today. Everyone is waiting for me. Every Microsoft employee is waiting for me so that I can leave, right? So it's their office timing is over, right? So I can get maybe, can I get some hello Akko, this was that were if that you find out, if you found that RDP connection was cool, and just drop a maybe cool or maybe whatnot, right? Yeah. I'm not sure what you should do, but yeah, I was wondering if anyone could do this. So yeah, that's it for today, and tomorrow we'll learn a couple of things. That's it for today. I'm just setting off the virtual machine so that it won't cost me anything, right? Otherwise there'll be a mess for me. I'll take the questions tomorrow, right? I'll take the questions, all the questions tomorrow. You can just drop if you have any questions, you can ask the questions in the group as well. Feel free to ask any questions in the group. I'll be present in the group, and that's it for today. Now if you have any questions, I'm here for the next 5 minutes, and I'm just stopping my screen. I'm stopping my screen, and thank you for joining in. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining in for today, and we will see you all tomorrow, right? With PowerShell, how to write a PowerShell script, everything I'll tell you, right? So yeah, that's it for today. Anything? And thank you, Aksha. Thank you, Daksh. You can always watch this stream again, right? Just watch the stream again, and you will be able to see how the I'm not sure if I should show this, but this is how the Microsoft Office looks. Keep organizing these kinds of events, so feel free to visit us. Thank you everyone for joining in. We are coming up with lots of initiatives. Looking forward to host you again. Thank you.